Leaving the forces can be one of the most difficult moments for those who've served, but every year more than 20,000 people do it. So how do they cope and how do they go about finding civilian jobs? Well, this week a new recruitment agency has been launched to take up their plight. It's called Force Select and it's staffed entirely by former soldiers. Victoria Smith has met some of their new recruits.
From enemy fire to a fire alarm in a student accommodation block. Former signaller James Metham is back on Civvy Street, just a few weeks after leaving the forces.
Hello, it's S.O. Metham at Woburn Place. We've just carried out the fire test. Did you receive?
Here in central London, Force Select has recruited 2 former soldiers as security operatives for this student accommodation. Now, James, tell me how you got the job.
Basically, I was talked to from an agency called Force Select. A guy called Stuart Edwards got in contact with me and he'd seen my CV that I posted on a website called Total Jobs, and within about 2 weeks of speaking to him, he got me an interview at this company called Unite and I got the job.
Like James, former Lance Corporal Greg Ibbotson was headhunted by Force Select to work alongside him in security, helping the students here with any problems in their accommodation.
Hi, I'm locked out.
We get a few things to do with the students. Sometimes they get locked out of their accommodation, we have to come and let them in. Sometimes they lose their key cards and we have to make them new key cards. And sometimes they have parties on the weekends and we just tell them to be quiet.
James and Greg are bucking the trend of recent years, with 1 in every 24 ex-servicemen feared to be sleeping rough on the streets of London. But agencies like Force Select are actively looking for those in need of jobs, and they say former service people are just what many employers need. The company has the backing of the former Chief of the General Staff, who admits there are still problems helping former soldiers back into civilian life.
There is quite a good process already in place, with time given, there's a reasonable amount of money given for resettlement training and all of that, but it doesn't always seem to get done as clearly as it should be.
We've got a lockout in room 17.
But for those making the transition, there's a job to do and a place on Civvy Street to do it. Victoria Smith, Forces News, Central London.
And if you want to know more about Force Select, you can go to their website, forceselect.com.